Okay.
It made me look fat.
Looking about the table, and I noticed the presence of a quorum, so I'd like to call the meeting to order. With that said, I'd like to get the Reverend Jones to lead us an invocation.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, Lord, in Jesus' name, we're thankful to you, God, for this day. Thankful to you, Lord, for our town. And Lord, we ask you to be with us and help us, God, to make the best decisions concerning the town for everybody concerned, God, that will take care of our community, Lord. And we thank you, Lord, for blessing our community the way that you have. And Lord, we'll not fail to give you the praise, the honor, and the glory in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, sir. I'll stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have before us the minutes of the previous meeting, so having looked at them, I'd like to entertain a motion to accept as presented or to make changes as needed.
Make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
Okay, is any discussion? All those in favor of accepting the minutes as presented, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Oh, same sign. The minutes are duly accepted. Okay, you're next on the list. You want to introduce yourself? Begin with all that information.
Good evening. Thank you all for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to present to you all tonight. My name is Emily Byers. I'm the partner in charge on your engagement. I think I see mostly, if not all, familiar faces tonight. So for those of you that have had the pleasure or the pain of sitting through this before, it's going to feel a lot like it did last time. We're just going to walk through the report itself. I think you've received electronic copies, so hopefully you've had a chance to look through it. I know you're just getting hard copies. If you're anything like me, you prefer to read a hard copy. So if you haven't had significant time, to read through everything and you've got questions when you look at it more closely, Monica and Jason know how to get a hold of me, so feel free to reach out. If you look at it again and you've got more questions after I leave here tonight. Like I said, we'll just dive into the report. We'll walk through it. I'll kind of tell you where the different sections are. I'll try to hit the highlights and not dive into the numbers too much. Feel free to interrupt me if you've got questions as I'm going through things. We'll start on page 2. This is the independent auditor's report. This is essentially where we state or opine whether we think your financial statements are materially correct in accordance with all of the accounting standards. You guys have a clean, unmodified opinion, so that's what you want. That means that we think your numbers and the information contained in your report is materially correct in accordance with all of the applicable standards. Page 5 of the report is management's discussion and analysis. This is essentially like a Cliff Notes version of the report. It takes the entire 50, 60 pages of the report and condenses it down to just 5 pages. So if you read through the report, you don't know what the key takeaways are, or if you don't have time to read the whole report, you might at least read the management's discussion and analysis, and that'll hit the highlights for you. On page 11 are the financial statements themselves. Exhibits 1 and 2 are the general fund on the full accrual basis of accounting, so that includes all long-term debt, fixed assets, and things like that. On exhibits 3 and 5, or pages 13 and 15, are the modified base statements, the balance sheet and income statement. These are essentially a lot closer to cash basis numbers. They go out about 60 days to pick up payables and receivables, and some other accruals that are included. But these numbers would probably be a lot more similar to anything that you might see throughout the year. Exhibits 4 and 6 kind of walk you between the 2 versions of the balance sheet and the 2 versions of the income statement, so that you can see what adjustments are made to get from modified basis to full accrual accounting. Exhibits 7, 8, and 9 relate to your proprietary funds, so your water and wastewater funds. It's a balance sheet, income statement, and statement of cash flows. I know that typically I'm here a little bit later, so you're already kind of in the budget process, but exhibits 5 and 9 might be a little useful to you all as you go into the budget season. Those are a little bit closer to cash basis numbers, so that'll show you where you've generated revenue on a cash basis and where you've expended dollars on a cash basis. So from a budget perspective, that's closer to how you account for things throughout the year. One thing that we do typically look at is your reserve balances, so that's based on exhibits 3 and 5 for the general fund. We look at your unassigned fund balance for the general fund compared to the general fund expenditures, so that you can tell how much you have in reserves to meet your upcoming expenditures for the year. You might remember that GFOA recommends that you have 2 months of reserves on hand, which works out to about 17%. You all had in excess of the 2 month of reserves on hand. You've got very good, strong reserve balances. I think you've kind of been building those reserves to work on some projects. So I think that, your reserve balances are very healthy, so that's a good thing. Otherwise, I wasn't gonna dive into the numbers too much. You guys had a pretty standard routine year, really. No debt issuances. You paid your debt off as it came due. You didn't have anything big happen. No significant capital projects during 2024. A lot of that was wrapping up in 2023. That was federally funded, you might remember, and we'll touch on that again in a little bit. So, a pretty routine year for you all. I think your financial statements look pretty healthy and strong. On page 20 are the notes to the financial statements. We go through a disclosure checklist each year that tells us what's required to be disclosed based on what happened for you all during the year. So if you're looking at a number on the face of the statements and you don't really understand what that is or what comprises that total, you might look to the notes to the financial statements and find a little bit more information or a definition of what's included in those amounts. We're going to skip over the required supplementary information that relates to pension and some statistical information after that. Tables 1 through 9 on pages 50 through 58 has typically 10 years of data that shows revenues and expenses and how things have changed throughout those 10 years for the town. On page 59 of the report is what I usually refer to as the yellow book report. This is where we take a look at internal controls and compliance-related items that the Auditor of Public Accounts requires that we test. We do have one item that's been disclosed to you all probably every year related to segregation of duties. To fully segregate duties, you really need to have 3 people in your accounting department. That's really not realistic or feasible for you all. You're not really large enough to support 3 people in your accounting department. So we just have to let you know that. Aside from that one item, we had no internal control items that were significant deficiencies or material weaknesses and no non-compliance as part of the procedures performed. So another mostly clean opinion aside from the segregation of duties. Last year, we had a third opinion in our report related to uniform guidance where you had ARPA funding, VDOT funding, and CDBG funding for all those projects. You didn't have federal dollar expenditures over $750,000 this year, so you didn't have to have a single audit. So that third report is gone from your report. On page 61 is the schedule of findings and responses. This really just goes over the 2 audit reports that we just discussed and then the segregation of duties item that we mentioned. So it just kind of summarizes the results of the audit process. The only other thing that I really wanted to mention to you all is that typically as part of our audit process, we do issue a management comment or recommendation letter. And I'm pretty pleased to say that this year we didn't have any written comments or recommendations, which I think really speaks volumes to the work that Monica and Jason and Brenda do throughout the year and then during the audit process. It's not common that we have no findings in the report and no written comments. So I think that really does speak to the level of work that they do throughout the year and then as part of the audit process. We really enjoy working with you guys and we think you've got a good group of people here. That was really all that I had to go over. I know I went through that kind of quickly. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
We call that a pregnant silence.
And thank you for every year y'all do this. It's always County Drive. I do appreciate it. And like you said, it just shows the hard work that Monica and Jason really does preparing for it, so we do thank them as well. A lot of hard work that goes on behind the scenes that we don't see. So,
Yeah, I've heard we're a little bit like a tornado, so I think that they deal with us very well. We appreciate it. All right, well, if there's no other questions, I'll let you all get back to business. Thank you all for having me, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. We always tell our guests, and you're gonna do it. So never mind. You go home, watch TV, it takes you an hour to get home.
Yeah, I've got a sick little one at home. So
Well, we will not take up any more of your time, and thank you.
Have a good night. Good to see you all.
Take care.
he says,
Always good when somebody gets the upper hand on you. Okay. Anybody have, Monica can answer most any of these questions at any time, so. With that said, that's behind us. That takes us to citizens' time. We've got several folks in the gallery tonight. You all have something you want to bring to the, they don't shake hard, so.
Do you have something?
Chester?
Do they have something?
No. I guess it's your turn now.
You sure?
Okay.
Sure want me to talk to you. This is my old office, you know.
That's right. It is.
I started this in 1973, June of 1973. The bank donated. This is for your, I'm going to make a donation to the depot. And, but I thought the town council needs to see this. And I'll do a little explanation, explaining.
Chester, do you need that easel?
No.
Apparently.
Mrs. Paul Neff, remember Paul Neff's wife, Beatrice? Well, Mrs. Paul Neff saved us. And she died in about 2002. And Jane went up and she cleaned the house. And then she took this folder and put it behind the stereo. And it's been sitting here till this last week. And I pulled it out, and there were some newspapers in here. And the newspapers is about the Grove Tree Times. Is anybody aware of the Grove Tree Times? Well, here they are. You're viewing. These are the actual newspapers. If you guys want to see it, and then sometime the first of the year, I'm going to donate this to them. The Grove Tree had a Chautauqua Festival, whether you're aware of that or not. Help you spread it so everybody can see it.
That makes
Gotta
better.
go back to 1915.
1950.
About 1850, let's say 1915 and 1903.
They make better newsprint. Newsprint today wouldn't survive that long. Much better quality paper.
If you people want to take a picture of it, you're welcome to do that with your cell phones.
hey Jason, what's one of the headlines? I'll be curious.
Mr. Harvick confesses. This is 1908, 1903.
Would you do that?
Hey, Monica. Anyway, we could get a picture of this and Mr. Jarris and put it on the Facebook page. I think that'd be really nice.
You would post some of the photos of,
I guess I would, you know.
There's an actual, there's the picture of the Chautauqua Festival and the people that came here for it. And I thought you guys might want to see it before.
The Philadelphia Concert and Opera Company.
Columbia Concert Company.
Just like this.
I don't know if we had the first photographer before working on that.
The money in this area is down by Lake. That was where, you know,
Some of the merchants should be interested in some of the merchants that were here.
there you go, that's good. For retreat times. You sit still.
Might want to cover that Virginia Tech up there.
Thing I like to see, I haven't seen it on any of these, is the prices of stuff.
Really? How much for that?
I don't see.
It might be a price of just the newspaper itself, 1 penny or something.
There was a Mr. E.C. Tar, some of the land that I own, that it's joins Fred Riley's. I joined Mr. Tar's property, and they bugged there too at the same time. And he sold buggies.
Buggies.
Yeah.
This guy right here offered a service for $2.50 for a year. He was your alarm clock. Leave your call with Big Ben. He'll call you on the dot, and anytime you say, if you roll over and try just one more nap, he'll repeat his call every 30 seconds and keep calling until you wake up and answer the phone.
That's awesome.
That's really great.
Where did this couple there, that you got the information, the house is still vacant?
No, we tore the house down, and my daughter lived there.
Oh, okay.
It used to be right there next to the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you go in Frank Ness over
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, okay.
Where Charles Roberts owned now. Up in there. But she had saved these newspapers, and over the years, and then we ran across them is what we did. So I thought maybe you guys need to see it, or would be interested in seeing it. But Grove Tree had its own newspaper.
Well, Chester, tell them your other great news.
What's that?
What'd you tell me today? Free cancer.
Oh, yeah, I'm in remission.
His cancer's gone.
I had esophageal cancer, and I've been in remission since 2022, July 19th of 2022.
Great.
There is one other thing that I ran across, and I don't know whether you'd be interested. But Whitfield had a school in the 1890s, Trinity Hall Female College. And they have a list of some of the people that went to school there.
I need to see him.
And sessions, this is a folder from sessions 1888 to 1889.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Oh,
That's all I got.
Well, we appreciate you taking time.
that was neat.
But Frankie Akers came to my house, and he took photographs of these, and I told him I would donate it after the first year.
What do you fold, was that folding the papers from there?
Let me look at that for a second.
Yeah.
Lord Treat Drug Company. Kidney and liver pills, 15 cents. Milam Spring Blood Tonic, 75 cents. Sarsaparilla, 69 cents.
Did it say who the proprietor was at that time?
It says Lord Treat Drug Company. Talcum powder, Relaxol.
Was Jim Wood still on council back then too?
Lloyd Barber Shop.
Yeah.
Bad haircuts, 10 cents.
Well, lady came and asked for talcum powder, and the young woman said, walk this way. And she said, honey, if I could walk that way, I wouldn't need the talcum.
Now, River Tree, says River Tree did have a hardware store, Bluegrass Hardware here. They were located in River Tree, Wistful, and Pulaski. Frankie said they were going to take pictures of it and they would put it in the museum. And I thought it'd be better for me to donate it to you guys because one of these days I'll be gone. And Jane will be gone.
Thank you for bringing that.
Yeah. That's all I have, fellas.
You, all right to get out with it like that?
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you again. Yep. Frankie kept saying this is historical as well, as far as he was concerned.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Now, with that said, do we need any more time for citizens' time?
You guys didn't bring anything historical for us?
Okay, that takes us to correspondence. Do we have correspondence from the town office?
Yes, we do, Mayor. Dear Town and Board Retreat, thank you for your time, energy, and collection site for the Red Cross Bloodmobile on October 15th. We had 48 registered donors and 48 units of blood product. Your contribution to the Bloodmobile helped to make it a success. Gratefully, Kay Collier, leader of the Rural Retreat Site Bloodmobile.
All right. Yeah, I'm glad we did that. Okay, anybody have?
Kay Corbin.
Yeah, I wondered.
Kay Collier is my mother-in-law.
Well, now she would really be excited, don't you remember?
Freudian slip.
He was wanting to knock at the door when it was raining, and he went to open the door, and it was his mother-in-law. He said, don't stand there in the rain, go home. So, you got that. Okay, do we have any correspondence from the town council?
Yes. Ever since we used the Dr. Pepper lot, had the Dr. Pepper down in the park lot, I fell in love with it more and more. It's so pretty down there. Now, a lot of us were standing around and we could see a big Christmas tree lit up right in the middle of the park and a bunch of singers singing around with Christmas carols. Then we could have some hot chocolate and hot dogs and stuff brought in. We could work up a little party for Christmas on the Christmas Day parade, but it's always early, isn't it? Could we get it later, could we?
Most time around 2
It's
o'clock.
been changed to
What
December
was that we
8th.
did that time that we had it all down there?
We had a Christmas festival down at the community center that year and had a carousel and everything.
Yes.
But the Christmas parade is going to be on December 8th this year instead of the first Sunday. So it's a little bit later.
Reason for that is Withville is having theirs the Saturday before, and they like to get the carryover floats from the Withville parade.
Mike, will you,
Anybody like that idea?
will you pass these?
Let me ask you, how big of a tree are you looking for?
Just a big pretty one, stands up.
Let me check with one of my good friends.
Might have left one.
He's got some at his house that are huge. Dean Akers.
What's this?
Okay, I was going to talk about that, but since you brought this up.
Do we have decorations enough to do a tree like that?
If you don't, I'll get them.
We've got, Mike, do we have lights still?
We have to run an extension cord to power in the building. There's no problem, we can do that. We did it for Dr. Pepper.
Is that a lot of fun?
Shouldn't be a problem.
I'll be glad to do it. help them in the high.
I'm supposed to have to get you a pretty good step ladder if you're gonna go over the
Oh,
top.
I don't want to stand up I suppose.
I want you to remember that pretty well, I don't know, this has not been reported on, but our bucket truck is kaput, correct, Mike? Master cylinder blew out of it.
And who is these tree people that have trees? I'm thinking they'll talk them into giving us a big one.
I know a guy.
You do? You do?
He got an inside.
All right, good,
She won't get that.
good.
So on that photo that they're passing around, I went back through the budget, and as Emily was talking about the reserves, monies in the reserves, and a lot of that's because we don't spend some of our budgeted money from year to year because we just don't need things. But I went back from 2020, all the way back to 2020, and we've got a shortage in the budget of $2,030, and that goes all the way through this budget year. So from 2020 to end of 2025, we've got $2,030 that we have not spent in Christmas decorations. So that, that you're looking at on that photo is a Santa sled, and it's just an outdoor light display. It's $2,248. It's 28 and a half foot long, and it would be almost 6 foot high at the tallest part of it. And we were just thinking about maybe putting that down there on the downtown lot facing Main Street. And the Santa Claus is animated, he waves. So the tree down there, and then that in the front would be really pretty, I think.
The idea came, I think it was Monica, but have you been through Independence during Christmas? They have a lot of these lights in a lot of different places, and who was the council member?
So there was a council member that was in Independence, I can't remember his name now, but he's passed away. But his thing was that he was gonna light up Grayson County. And he worked on that religiously every year. He would buy, they would get such money, they would buy these displays, and they just keep adding to it. Well, Independence now, they've got the lights on the poles like we do, but they've got lots of these standing, long, light fixture displays. Lots and lots and lots of them, and that's how they got them. So I called over there, got some information, ended up talking to a Mr. Bottomley from, different Bottomley than the pumpkin people. But he is in Galax, and he does the Highlands Light Festival at Phelps Park in Galax. And he gave me lots of information on buying these lights and which ones are good and which ones aren't and things like that. So if we ordered that, if you all approve us to get that with this reserve money, I order it tomorrow. It'll be here the 1st of December. So I think it'd still be here in plenty of time to get it up and enjoy for Christmas time.
I make a motion, we purchase the lights.
Well, Independence is over 2,000, would you have two procurement?
It's budgeted.
I'm not doing procurement, I'm just getting permission to use reserve funds from previous budget years of that we can use.
I was gonna say, since it's budgeted,
It's budgeted, I don't really.
maybe we don't need that.
I think we would, because it's not budgeted
It's not
this year.
The only,
It's gonna be a reserve, it's gonna be a reserve. That was the cumulative amount of years, the last few years.
so this year, there's $500 in the budget. We need to get the rest of that from previous years out of reserves.
Sure, second.
Thank you.
Okay, is any other discussion?
I think it's a great idea, and I think eventually I'd like to see a giant Dr. Pepper can with a piece of
Christmas
holly
lights.
on it. Yeah, seriously.
Well, that would probably have to be fabricated, but it might
No,
be.
I'm just saying.
But the thing is like Monica said, we'll start with one, and then every year, we can budget for something else to.
Hey, what would you all say if I got people to bring in hot chocolate and hot dogs? We got to speak of a day, an evening that would like to do some singing around the tree, and then have Jim to help me with the music, singing music.
I mean, you get the local churches involved, you get the local churches involved.
Yes,
I mean,
it would be nice. We need to send it later.
But one was gonna be what, skating rink, remember that, Monica? That would be neat too.
We did a carousel one year.
The skating ring and.
we're not gonna be able to do that this year, but.
Well, what would be a good day for us to set, so people would know that we're going to do it?
Got to find a tree first.
Get the tree.
Yeah, let me make sure I get the tree first.
All right, you get the tree.
There you go. I think it's a good idea.
Speaking of lights, I don't know if y'all been by the hockey games yet, and you will see, but they got an excellent light display just going up to the roadway. And they had it set up for Veterans Day, and it was really nice. It was, I was really impressed with what the lights they put out.
Everything in our way that was already out. Streets were decorated, homes were decorated, we couldn't believe it. Yes.
They ruined Christmas for me, they always talk too early.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second, so we will continue with the call for the question. So all those in favor of purchasing the sleigh, please signify by stating aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay. That's just, she'll order tomorrow, she said, so that'll be ready, Mike, put it up.
Yeah, Mike didn't know that yet, sorry.
I'm excited about that.
Actually, Mike came to me about 2 or 3 weeks ago and said, hey, can we get some Christmas decorations? I'm not gonna take all the credit for that, because Mike did say, can we find a way to get some Christmas decorations on this downtown lot there by the wishing well? So he got my wheels turning.
No good deed goes unpunished.
Yes,
Okay, I remember that. Monica can help me put them up.
it's a beautiful one, it needs to be used, it's so pretty.
All right. Is there any other correspondence from the town? Okay, that takes us to the police report.
I just got one thing, it's about Halloween night, everything's great, traffic, I thought, great this year.
A lot of trick or treaters because of the
No
weather.
troubles whatsoever, yeah. It always, the town road treat always amazes me on Halloween, it's, lots of kids, that's for sure.
And people come from out of town, especially going down Buck Avenue, they get inundated.
Yeah. Yeah, it always impresses me every year. Yeah, everything's great. No meanness or nothing like that, so.
No means. Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I am so sorry. Under correspondence, I should have mentioned, I got several compliments about the Veterans Day service. And I know Jason in the town office, and I'm not gonna mention too many names because we won't forget somebody, but it was a very nice little service for our veterans.
What, there were 75 people there, Jason?
Maybe.
We'll say 50.
I had my report, but I just wanted to say special thanks to Brenda Maxey and the group that she had to sing. She put a lot of work into it, but really, in my opinion, the hero of the whole thing was Becky Harrison. She took the bull by the horns, and she made all the arrangements and did a lot of it. But not taking anything away from anybody, but Becky really took it upon herself this year to make sure that it was a successful event. And it was.
Veteran speaker
And we had some of the high school kids come down and play taps for us, and good youth involved.
one of those kids was a teacher.
Exactly, yes.
I'll make that.
He was still teaching,
Yeah.
but yes.
I'll make it understood anyway.
Hey, Chief, not to call you up at Central, do we need to replace your coat and jacket?
No, Monica put white out.
I colored it one time.
Just for the record, I had begged him.
It's a good jacket.
You represent us.
I've got it.
I think it says, don't say police, it says Ollie or something.
Well, Monica took some white out and painted it for me one time, so we'll do that again.
What did you say about no good deed goes unpunished?
That's the very best.
He's the cheapest thing. He would go to Ernie Sullivan's to buy his police stuff if he could out of the back of the trailer.
Well, them vests came from Goodwill, didn't they?
Okay,
Chief, thanks for what you do.
happy with what you do. Anybody have any questions for the chief while we're tormenting him?
You know, but it's sitting with that beard.
Yeah, I feel it.
All right. That takes us to, we'll start on our unfinished business. Jason, just skip by however you want to deal with it. And the downtown is where we'll begin.
Okay, I've got it on my report, but I won't go ahead and touch on this now. At the last meeting, you guys gave me the okay to go ahead and schedule the fencing down at the downtown lot. And I looked at the quote, and something on it made me second guess myself. So I called and I wanted to get some more information in front of everybody before I did what you had requested. The first thing, if you look at, is this picture right here with the footage. On the bid, it did say 50 feet of galvanized chain link fence. And that galvanized chain link is going to be from the existing fence at Billy Klein's to the railroad. So that will just be chain link over there, just bordering off our property. That will be the 50 foot of 6 foot galvanized chain link. The remainder of this, you can see it going down to Church Street, there where the section house was, is 190 feet. And then we'll start back at where the farmer's market is and go to the corner of the sidewalk, go 20 feet, have a 6 foot opening, and then proceed to the detention pond. And then it says no fence there. I wasn't gonna put the fence on that area in between the building and the detention pond. We'll leave that open for people to come over and have the gazebo or whatever we decide to go on. The estimate for this, as you can see, was $38,000. You guys had said 40 and under. And then I had them send me a sample picture of what their steel enforced galvanized decorative fence would be. And that is this picture. I think everything looks in line and looks to be in good shape. I just wanted to let you know that this was going to be the product that you will be getting in case anybody has any questions about it. But this shows you the plan that they had drawn up for their estimate, what it's going to look like, and how much it's going to cost. So I already have a permission from you at the last meeting to go ahead and put the fencing up. I just wanted you guys to have an understanding of what, if you have any things you want to discuss, any things you want to add, omit, whatever, right there's the plan that I'm proceeding with tomorrow.
What is the distance from the end of the fence to each side of the road? Just curious.
You mean to
the street?
We're 2 feet on this side of our right of way. Well, it was 2 feet, about 2 feet, wasn't it, Mike?
I'm just curious, I mean, I know.
We found the pins for where our land begins and the railroad begins, and we stepped it back.
Sounds good to me.
We originally asked the railroad to lease us that piece of ground that goes, it comes to a pond, but it goes from Church Street. I don't remember, it's just a small piece. It was $5,000. And he must have heard me whining because he lowered it to $3,000. But we bought the lot and got that land.
Yeah, I made an offer to buy a portion of their property, and they came back with was it $20,000?
$20,000 for that.
And we got even more than what my initial offer.
That land there and the section house property
Right.
for $20,000. It would have already been used up at least that much already, so.
But I just wanted to, you guys to put your eyes on it and know what's going on, so that everybody's on the same page.
Okay, that cover that. Anybody have questions?
Jason, this may be an odd question, but are they expecting any vibration at all from the train?
He said it's gonna be as strong or stronger than probably the depot fence is, and we're not gonna get any more vibration than what that fence is, so. Everything's gonna be concreted in, so.
All right. Dale, put you on the spot of Heritage Day. Got any news?
I'm working on a couple of acts, nothing to report yet.
A little early. They always hedge their bets and they don't want to. Okay. That takes us to upgrades to the water plant.
I don't have anything on upgrades, but I'll go ahead and cover this, it's in my report, but Stephen Bayer and I have set a meeting for Thursday morning for preliminary discussion about future water connection between the town and the county. And then we'll get our utility committees together. Hopefully we can do that before the end of the year, because here soon there'll be a new utilities committee. But I talked to him, he said he'd like for me and him to meet first, just to kind of go over some of the stuff, and then I can report it back to you guys. But we do plan on meeting Thursday morning to discuss the interconnect, so.
Well, good deal.
Okay, and upgrades to the sewer plant, anything you need to?
I had this in my report, but I'll go ahead and talk about it now. Everything for the well and the pump down at the wastewater plant is ready for wiring. All we need is AEP to install a meter and give us permission to vary the wire underground from the pump to the meter or to the power supply. I was told by electrician that it had to be approved by AEP, and he said that, it might be this week, it might be next, but they've been really busy with all this other stuff that's been going on. I think they're just now getting back to normal life. But we have conduit and wire in place to go ahead and just put that underground too, so. Also, Donald Vault did go down and work on the clarifier this weekend, and had made some progress, and we needed to finish the overflow on that, the overflow pipe on the clarifier that had been down for so long. It's not an issue that's an emergency or anything, but he has been working on that to get that fixed so that is completely taken care of. So we're making headway on that as well.
Very good. All right, any questions? Okay, that takes us to the Main Street sidewalk.
Okay, it's on my report too, but I'll just go ahead and talk about it now. Spoke to a concrete contractor. He came in last week and replaced 2 sections of sidewalk. One was damaged on Buck Avenue and the other on Main Street, which caused me some grief Friday. We had set up 2 cones, and some person walked their dog, 2 dogs, right through the wet concrete. So luckily, they were still close by. I saw it, they came back and repaired it, but everything's been fixed as far as what we need, what we had damaged before, except for one entrance to an apartment building. I'm gonna have to make some accommodations with the apartment owner and his renters as to how we can do that, because it's gonna have to set up for at least overnight, so I'm gonna have to find a way, but it's packed down pretty good with what we've got in it now. Something, he also quoted replacing the section of the sidewalk on Main Street and at Delp Avenue, which this is Jim Lloyd's area, for $18,600, which is a drop in the water compared to what some of the other contractors had quoted me. the town will have to provide this traffic control for a week or so, and this would take place in early March. Honestly, when I saw the quote, I called the individual. I said, "Are you sure this is correct?" He said, "I've done all the measurements." He said, "I know all the material." He said, "I know all of my labor. If you can provide the traffic control, I can make that a nice, safe sidewalk for $18,600. So,
Can I ask,
you can ask whatever you'd like.
how much is he talking about excavating?
He's tearing everything out and
So he's
replacing.
gonna excavate it and rebuild it.
Steps.
He's gonna tear it all out. Go back in, put up a concrete wall, fill in, and concrete on top of it for $18,600. Now, I will say, he's done work, he's done Sonic's concrete work. He did a couple other big
McAdoo's
businesses.
in there.
McAdoo's, Food City he's done work for. He did the whole front thing at McAdoo's. So, I mean, he's done other jobs.
I'm just,
But I will tell you, the biggest cost of it is going to be traffic control. Because coming off that hill, coming up that hill, they're going to have flaggers, and it's going to be a communication thing with trains and everything else coming through. That's going to be the main cost. It's going to cost us more than $18,600.
how much, I'm not trying to micromanage, I'm just curious. Where are you talking about shutting it down or flagging from where to where?
We're going to flag, it'll have to be a flag to one way from probably the funeral home down to the railroad tracks.
So he needs help.
We'll have to call in
He'll have to use the
flaggers.
contractor for that.
We'll have to use, it's road safe, isn't it? Yes, road safe.
I was just curious if it would be better off doing like a detour or whatever, presumably you could do a 2-hour detour and get flaggers. But I'm just, again,
We can do that. Let me check with VDOT, because VDOT would have to give me the permit to do that. Let
I'm
me
just curious.
see if we could detour them down Buck and Catherine and do that.
And if the truck traffic we get through here.
Yeah, I don't know. Just a thought, because
I can reach out and see what they want us to do.
I know flaggers are expensive, that's all. I'll be quiet.
But I was, after I talked to him, if he's committed to doing it for $18,600,
How long does that quote last?
I talked to him, it's actually 60 days, I think, but he's already told me it would be March, so that quote's in stone as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, I'm just asking, do we need to make a motion
Yeah, we
to
need to act on it
accept
tonight.
that amount so that it doesn't expire?
That would probably be, I would rather go more permission than less permission. So I don't ever think that a motion is a bad thing.
I'll make a motion that we accept that bid.
I'll second that motion.
And I think in your motion, you need to put plus our cost for traffic.
Plus our cost for traffic control.
I still second.
Okay, now discussion. Anybody want to add to, take away? I couldn't see where all this money came from because it's not hooked to the building. I mean, there's really no matching on that sidewalk. I'm sorry, but I'm not a contractor, but just an old hayseed, and I could see through that. Okay, any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor of accepting that bid, please signify by stating aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. It's a matter of new business. Okay, do we have any other unfinished business? Okay. That takes us to new business. Do we have any new business?
I have this in my report, but I'm gonna go ahead and make this new business so that we can put it as unfinished business, because it's gonna be something that we'll be talking about in the future. I have sent 2 letters to property owners, one on Fry Avenue and one on Parsonage, about clutter on their properties. They have been given a time frame to fix the situation. I will be sending a second letter, and at that point, they will be fined and the courts will get involved. I did this with guidance from our consultants at VML and their attorneys. I'm going to give them 2 written chances to remedy the problem of unsightly, basically, I feel, go against our ordinance that we adopted. Give them 2 written notices, then I'll go to the court. There's a couple ways I can do it. I can go to the court to get their blessing to go on the property, or we can find the individual, and it would be a separate offense each day that they do not remedy the situation up to $3,000 per year. So at some point, they're either going to get fined or go to court. That way, the town will show that you guys have done the due diligence to address the ongoing issue in one of the areas and an issue at another. But I've had so many people that have expressed concern about it, that it's time for us to either, in my opinion, I've sent the letter, and then you guys can tell me how you want me to go from there. But when the time comes, either he'll write a ticket, or we'll go to the court and get permission to go on the property and take anything that we deem as clutter.
Very good.
Good job.
Good job. Can you tell me those locations again, please? Or did you say one of them?
Elm Avenue and Parsonage Avenue. Would you like for me to tell you where they are?
No. I think I'll be able to do it from there, thank you.
Actually, the one on Parsonage got 2 letters. They got one for the clutter and one, they're breaking our trash ordinance. They put their trash out at the road on a daily basis, instead of keeping it off the road and bringing the cans down. And I've been by there several times since I wrote the letter, and they're still in my opinion, they're still not in compliance with that ordinance, so.
Excellent. Good job.
That's great, thank you for that.
And that will be under unfinished business for the,
That will appear as unfinished business. Very good. Okay, so any other new business?
I have something.
Yes, sir.
The shredded event that we did last year, I've went ahead and set that up for April the 19th from 9 to 12. The cost of the event's going to be $1,200, just like it was last year. And it's in the budget, so I just wanted to let you know. It's the same week that we did last year. And everybody really liked that we did that, so.
When'd you say it?
It's April 19th.
Remind me, this triad that the Attorney General, they help out with those shredded events. Remind me to get with you.
Okay.
It'd be the same girl that you emailed about the fraud thing.
Okay.
Okay, that's a good thing. That was well recommended to repeat. All right, any other new business? With that said, we'll go to committee reports and ask about finance and appropriations.
Tax tickets, I have received I told you at the last meeting, I was planning on getting the tax files by the end of October. However, I got the real estate file November 4th, and It's been forwarded to the software company for conversion, and I've been put on a conversion list. So you get put on a 20-day, it won't be any longer than 20, 25 days, something like that. So hopefully we'll get those converted over and get the tax tickets out by the end of November. Personal property, I'm told by the Commissioner's Office, we don't have any idea on that yet. They're still having some major issues with the vehicles and the cost and the assessments, so. We may end up having to extend that due date past January 5th. I was hoping we wouldn't have to do that, but it's out of our hands, so.
Okay, does anybody have any questions? All right, that takes us to the personnel ordinances and legal matters. No anything to add? Okay. Do you have anything left on your report?
Just a couple things. I did notice, down on election day, that one of the lights was out, shining up on the flag. I got with Andy today. He's gonna go ahead and replace it. Did he get with you about on? He's gonna replace that because we have a flag down there that we do not have a light on. So we had one time, but the bulb, I mean, it just comes out of the housing. So, but it's hard to have anything nice down there. I mean, people get into it and mess things up, but we'll give it another try anyway. The water line on Alice Chambers has been tested by the Virginia Department of Health, and the samples came back. They were approved and the lines are put in service. The town now has the ability to hook up any new homes to the lines in the future. We're also ready to provide water service to the west in the future if that does come about. So everything's plumbed up and ready to go there. I think that's it. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, did anybody have any questions for the town manager? With that said, we'll go to the treasurer's report.
Okay. We wrote the following checks, kind of long. AZ Office Resource, $190.82. Alpha and Omega Repair, $836.46. Appalachian Power, $11,250.30. BFI Carter Valley Landfill, $338.73. Blue Ridge Analytical, $1,971. Blue 360 Media, $210.49. BMS Direct, $468.96. Bright Speed, $826.69. C&D Truck and Safety, $201.15. Electronic Systems, $59.93. EMS Incorporated, $200. Ferguson, $6,751.41. Harpo's Hardware, $762.66. Inland Construction, $65,056.65. Joint Public Service Authority, $293.88. KC Property Maintenance LLC, $240. Lines Cleaning Service, $750. Meredith's Garage, $20. Premier Plumbing and Drain, $525. Principal Financial Group, $211.80. R&R Enterprises Incorporated, $174.48. Roy Treat Auto Parts, $259.55. Sayers Electric, $1,430. Shentel, $746.54. Shred-it USA, $96.98. Southwestern Equipment, $450.89. State Electric Supply, $473.35. The Bank of Marion, $2,075.96. The Lane Group, $21,968.52. Thrive, $32. U.S. Cellular, $402.64. Miss Utility, $33.35. With Welding LLC, $225. And that is a grand total of, sorry, I don't have that on my paper. That is a total of $119,535.19. Anybody have questions on any of that?
So while we're signing that, Brewer Retreat varsity volleyball won, so they are now the District 1D regional champs. That's good. Yeah.
What about that?
That's good.
You didn't have any trouble getting it to watch it either, did you? I understand that. We had to have a conference about it. Michael, you just give me something. You know.
And the football team's still in the playoff, did you?
Play right at Rye Cove Friday
At
night.
what?
Rye Cove.
Okay.
They got some big old boys.
If you have any feeling you have no business being in here.
Leave them in the street. And what it is.
Why does that go from red?
It is what it is. That fence is going to look nice. And we should, to keep the railroad off of us, we should have the fence built before really, when do you think they said it was going to be late?
Yeah, it shouldn't be late.
In other words, they'll build a fence pretty quickly.
It should be, yes.
That, little kids playing on the railroad tracks is not a good thing. So we can keep from getting in trouble. Okay, does anybody have anything else they'd like to bring forward to this group? If not, sure, we're going to call for adjournment tonight.
Out of here.